What? Below. Below. High five. Okay. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Sunday Game Day edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction and Roofing. If you need an orthopedic, go to Brock. If you need a roof, you call Parish. Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com. Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. All right, thanks for being there. Lot to get into this morning. Tigers land not one, not two, not three, 4 transfers. Bauer Sharp, learned about that on Friday. And Saturday, Jakeem Jackson, Barian Brown, Jamari Butler, all pop for LSU. So how are we feeling? It looks like Braylon Moore, the center from Virginia Tech, will be next. So the Tigers keep trugging along. Basketball Tigers lose. They commit 17 turnovers. Playing up there in Frisco against SMU, very disappointing loss. As we've talked about, the SEC is an absolute monster this year. This team needs to stockpile wins. Go this way in the pre-conference because it's going to be very hard to get above 500 in the league. The league's that good this year. So need to stockpile wins. So it was a good opportunity yesterday against an ACC school. Tigers just turnovers were crippling, and they just kind of pummeled you in the second half, unfortunately. So anyway, bummer. I'm trying to get, it was 74-64, I think. There it is. I was looking for the final. There it is. 74-64 was the final. Yeah, they outscored you 47-31 in the second half. LSU was leading by 6 at half, 33-27, but as good as a second half team as this team has been, was not the case on Saturday. So, and then Saints Commanders, no Derek Carr, so it will be Jake Haener making his first career start for the Hoodats today. So, if nothing else, there's a layer of intrigue to see how young Haener might do. So, I do have the Commanders. I have the Commanders comfortably. I think I picked it 27-10, something like that. I can't remember my exact final score, but it was Washington comfortably. Go this way. All right, we'll say some good mornings. Please smash that like button, subscribe to the show, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Boudreaux KD, good morning. How close is Colin Hurley at being a starter, if he is at all? Yeah, I want to be clear. I'm not. This is not meant to be disparaging to Colin Hurley because I think he's a very talented young guy and has the chance, but he's not close now. As evidenced by the fact that you saw both AJ Swan and Ricky Collins play ahead of him this year, and he showed up on campus as a 16-year-old. Like, think about it's one of the reasons I don't like early enrollees or reclassifying. If you're academically at that point and you can graduate high school early, okay, but go this way. But just think about all the physical development you get from 16 to 17 to 18. Like, well, I don't know why you'd accelerate that. So no, he's not close to being ready. So I know it's a bummer. But it's not to say he won't be in another year or two, but it's just not now. Toki Doki, Kelly Gross, good morning. Gunnar Michaels, good morning. Merrick Mathern, hey. Thomas, good morning. Seth, serious thing about applying to be editor for your media, LOL. What happened? What happened? Did I misspell something? There's something misspelled on the website. I didn't post anything yet this morning. I think Hunt posted this morning. 5 things to know, Commanders at Saints. It looks good. These headlines. Yeah, if something's wrong, tell me. Brian Penn, good morning, Matt. From Waterloo, New York. What do you think about Marshall dropping out and Louisiana Tech getting in the Independence Bowl? I don't care. Sorry, Brian. Marshall didn't have enough guys to play. Okay. Didn't happen a few years ago with A&M where they didn't have enough guys to play in the bowl game, so they dropped out of a bowl game. Makes sense. Louisiana Tech's got close proximity. The fans will go to the game. Game will go on. I mean, bowls, as we've said, glorified exhibitions. Don't really care. Hey, Robert, good morning. Trivia Carter. Michael Secco, good morning. Brad David, good morning. Stone Musso, good morning. Got to meet Stone Musso this year at Whiskey and Wine. Been traveling, missing y'all. 3-week vacation starts today. Tigers looking good in the portal. Let's piece together, make it happen. Go this way. Yeah, I mean, the 4 players you got. So Bauer Sharp, there's your plug-and-play tight end. Go this way. 5th-year player. Was Oklahoma's leading pass catcher last year. Jakeem Jackson, one of the top corners in the country when he signed to Florida 2 years ago. Played every game as a freshman. Then last year as a sophomore, started the first 2 games of the season, was injured, lost for the rest of the year, and now is at LSU. And again, that's a Corey Raymond guy. So love that. Barry Brown was a 5-star coming out of high school in Tennessee, signed with Kentucky, was the number 2 receiver in the country. He was a freshman All-American. He was an All-American as a return specialist, as a sophomore, returned 4 kickoffs for touchdowns. He's explosive and dynamic and awesome. I mean, he's a legit one. Kentucky's offense just stunk. And then Jamari Butler. Jamari Butler is going to be a 6th-year player, defensive end from Nebraska. Blue. So, you've added impact guys right away, and you ain't done. So we'll go back a week and a half on signing day when I said talk to me in a month. What's been a week and a half? How you feeling? You feeling better? I would assume so. Hey, Guy Brooks. Good morning. Roll Tide 99. Congratulations, Travis Hunter. Yeah, close vote with Hunter and Ashton Genty, but Hunter won it. As we've said, it's go this way. By the time they show up in New York, it's already a foregone conclusion because the odds makers know. Anyway, yeah, Travis Hunter. I mean, I think Hunter probably would have gotten my vote if I had one. I don't have a vote, so I don't do tons of research on it. I know I would not have voted for Ashton Genty with any of my, because when you vote for Heisman, you get a first, a second, and a third place vote. So the first place vote counts as 3 points. The second place vote counts as 2 points. The third place vote counts as 1 point. Genty would not have been in my top 3. I just don't think you reward somebody for stat padding at a lower level. No different than the quarterbacks from Hawaii back in the day. So good player, very fine season. Just I think there's any number of backs that if you put them in a lower classification and gave them 30, 40 touches a game, they would do the same thing. So Abner Neal, morning, Matt. Totally jacked about our transfer portal signees. Love to hear it. Should be. And there's more to come. I mean, it's only 4. We know they want to get close to 10. Like we've talked about, Braylon Moore, the center from Virginia Tech, is projected by everybody to land at LSU. So it's a formality when they get him at this point. Just like Braylon Brown was, and Jakeem Jackson and all that sort of stuff. So let's go. The one bummer is Dylan Thieneman, the number 1 safety in the portal from Purdue. LSU was targeting him. He did commit to Oregon yesterday. So Zechariah Poyser from Jacksonville State. We've talked about Jacoby Matthews as a possibility as well. You never know who else might go in the portal, but got to go get safety help. We'll see where they can get it. Hey, Merrick, players that have committed from the portal, are they better than what LSU lost? So that's a good question, and maybe we can go 1-to-1 on that. So, let's look at Bauer Sharp. So Bauer Sharp, Mason Taylor. Mason Taylor was the greatest pass-catching tight end in LSU history. 3-year starter, all that stuff. Bauer Sharp's going into his 5th season and was Oklahoma's leading pass catcher this past year. Remember, Oklahoma was Oklahoma and Kentucky. Incidentally, you got a tight end from Oklahoma and a receiver from Kentucky, were the 2 worst passing offenses in the SEC, 2 worst offenses in the SEC this year. So Bauer Sharp. So this past season in Oklahoma, Bauer Sharp had 42 catches for 324 and 2 touchdowns. Mason Taylor was over 50 catches. Mason finished with 55 for 546 and 2. So Bauer Sharp had 42 on the worst passing offense in the SEC, and Mason Taylor had 55 on the best passing offense in the SEC. So what's a bet right there with Ole Miss? Anyway, so comparable, I think. Jakeem Jackson, Zy Alexander. Zy was great. Jakeem Jackson physically probably higher upside. Berrien Brown, comp him to Kyron Lacey. Kyron was great for you this year. Berrien Brown's a more explosive receiver. Kyron was awesome. Kyron just didn't have the game-breaking, like blow the top off the defense ability. Berrien Brown has that. Berrien Brown's more Malik Neighbors. Not saying he's Malik. I'm not saying he's going to be, top 10 pick, first receiver off the board or whatever. And but I'm just saying he's more comparable stylistically to Malik. And then Jamari Butler. Think of Jamari comparable to Savion Jones. He's 6'6". Jamari Butler. Good as way. Jamari Butler is 6'5", 260. And he's going to be a 6th-year guy. So he was a freshman in the COVID year, and then he redshirted. So very comparable with Savion Jones. So I think they're actually really comparable to those guys. Garrett, morning. Know your take on Genty getting 40 runs, but you have to respect his game. D always stacks the box. But don't you understand? Like, that's the point. I'm not saying he's not a good back, but the whole premise behind Ashton Genty being a Heisman finalist is the statistical accumulation. But that's the point I'm making, is that there's any number of people, if they got that many touches, that would do the same thing. So that's kind of my point on Genty. Like, I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm just saying if you're like, the reason Ashton Genty got all of the attention is because of the stats, not because he was a good running back at Boise. Well, the reason he got the stats, they gave him 40 touches a game. Well, I'm saying there's any number of people that, if they got 40 touches a game, would do the same thing. Gorilla, good morning. Jason, traveling back from Got Sold, Dallas. Pick lots of heat. There you go. What did I miss back home? Some transfers and all kind of stuff. Tiger basketball lost. Lance Richard, Cell 620, morning. Are we really feeling transfers are elite? Brown and Moore are two with real production. So I'll disagree with you on Bauer Sharp. Hi. Go this way. So Bauer Sharp converted from quarterback at Southeastern, was a tight end at Southeastern for 3 years, and was just a very productive tight end at Oklahoma in the SEC. Like, that's an elite transfer.
What is that?
It's a blow. I think Berrien Brown's proven. Jamari Butler is proven as well. He'll be playing a 6th year of college. He was honorable mention All Big Ten 2 seasons ago. Played a ton of football. And the one that I think you could fairly ask is Jakeem Jackson, just because he was injured last year. But again, he had won a starting job at Florida. And so the question is, do you trust Corey Raymond? And I do. Signing SEC players. Yes. Yes. Very nice to see that, as opposed to rating the FCS and the G5, letting them take a step up. You're talking about guys that have already competed in the Power 5 and in the SEC. Good morning. BK is cooking the staff. They want that buffet. Who dat fam going to the game just to see JD5? I don't blame you. He's worth Jaden's worth the price of admission. From a Saints perspective today, I do think getting a look at Jake Haener will be interesting. And, I do continue. I want to see the rush offense continue to perform behind this offensive line. The thing Rattler didn't have when he had his 3 starts was a healthy offensive line. Well, this is your first string offensive line from the beginning of the season. So let's see if they do better in the run game today. Please smash the like button if you would, subscribe to the channel. Facebook, like the page, share the post. Thomas Jinglegate, we'll get to it. Irfan Sayad, Lonnie, good morning. Where can I get a Go This Way shirt? I need to get, so Lonnie, there was a listener, and he didn't tell me his name, but he sent me an email. He used AI to come up with a few Go This Way logos. So I think I'll put them on the 929 Misfits store. By the way, I think my 929 Misfits. If anyone's looking for a gift for an LSU fan, we've got the Nussbus shirts. We also added a Nussbus sweater, a sweatshirt, and a hoodie. And I ordered my hoodie. I bought it, by the way. Man, no freebies. I bought it and I ordered it, and I think it's supposed to be delivered today. I ordered it this week. It's supposed to be delivered today. So you still have time to get it in time for Christmas if you want the Nussbus shirt. I just posted the link in the chat. Nussbus shirt or hoodie. We have Merry Christmas shirts and hoodies as well. Tons of good, Let the Band Play Neck. Tons of good stuff. So go check it out if you're interested, 929misfits.com. Hey, Guy Brooks, good morning. Team Drew, thank you, man. Brian Kelly, how about them Wildcats? Gunner, like the pickups in the portal so far. Go this way. I think Butler is underrated in the portal rankings, way more production than most guys ahead of him. Hoping for more to commit, another O-line after that. Braylon Moore would be so significant. So for those that didn't hear us talking about him, Braylon Moore is a 2-year starting center at Virginia Tech. So he played his first season as a backup, started the last 2 seasons, was a really good starter. I mean, I think he allowed 3 sacks and like 400 snaps. So really good interior player with a ton of starting experience, and that was your weak link this year. So it allows you to move Chester to guard with his experience. It just, you could piece it together. Wait. What are you doing? What are you looking for? Sitting in this chair looking at the window. What do you see? A blower. Somebody's out there with a blower. He loves leaf blowers. Oh, ooh, there's a blower. Watching them on YouTube. That is a blower. Congrats to my fellow Parkview graduate David Simoneau and the Central Wildcats dominating state champion win. Okay, good on Central. Let's see. USMC Houdat, thank you. And I do know David when David was at Catholic. Didn't get to know him well, but a very, very nice guy, man. Genuinely good guy. Wish him well. USMC Houdat, thank you, Matt, for all you do. Nice to see some quality players coming to BR. Well, thank you, USMC Houdat, for your service. Dramatically more important and consequential to planet Earth than me talking about sports. But thank you. Very kind of you. Let's see. Sean, good morning, Houdats. Need one more win from Phil Steele for the Green Bay win total. I'm telling you, man, Phil Steele, Sean's been on it, but Phil Steele, man, at the start of every season, go look at Phil Steele. When Phil gives you a season win total over under that he's bullish on, take it to the bank. I know Iowa was one of his this year. Who else was one of his? But there's always a couple, man, that he nails. How much NIL money would it cost to pay the 2019 team? So somebody asked me that yesterday, Lou. And the thing you got to keep in mind is going into 2019, none of those guys had the value they did after 2019. The guy that had the most value was Grant Delpit. I mean, Grant Delpit was the best defensive back in college football in 2018. And he got completely hosed for the Thorpe. Now, he won it in 2019, but he got hosed in 18. But all those guys after the 2018 season, I mean, Burrow was a very average quarterback in 2018. Jamar Chase battled some injuries in 18. You saw flashes, but he hadn't quite exploded. Jets was your leading receiver in 2018. Clyde was rotating with Nick Brissett in 2018. Caleb Von Chasson torn his ACL on the first game against Miami in 18. You see what I mean? Like, all those guys collectively took the giant leap in 2019. Now, if after 2019 they were all coming back and you had to pay them, it would have cost you a little bit. Would you rather? He has fallen deep down a 104.5 ESPN rabbit hole. He's finding old like old bits, like, off the bench from 10 years ago, Would You Rather Wednesday and stuff like that. I mean, I guess it would have been 10 years ago. 10 years would have been Colada and the Prince. Anyway. Hey, Kelly Presley, good morning. Hope you're doing great. Hey, Brad, how long do you need to be in the sun daily to get enough vitamin D? Should you supplement regardless? Yeah, it's a great question, Brad. Like, our bodies were built, we were genetically engineered to spend like 85% of our time outside. And we actually invert it. Like 95% of our time is indoors. So, I mean, just think about it. We only are outside generally when we walk from our car to a building, and then we're inside a building all day when you walk from your car to your house. But I would recommend with supplementing vitamin D3 K2 with K2 in it. So read up on it. But like, again, I take the 10X supplements, the Gary Brecka protocol stuff, they're all methylated. That's what I would recommend you do. That make sure you get a methylated vitamin. But don't take my word for it. Do your research. Christian Myers, good morning, Matt. Do you think our right and left tackles on the team, or is BK filling through? Oh, I see what you're saying. Are they on the team now, or are they filling them in the portal? So I'll tell you this, man. I believe Tyree Adams is going to be a really good player. And he was your second team left tackle behind Will Campbell. Right tackle, I think, is interesting because Bo Bordelon could play out there, although they did move him inside this year. And they love Weston Davis. Weston Davis was a 5-star who signed in last year's class, and I think he is very capable. What I would suggest they do is absolutely go get a veteran in the portal and then create competition. You have to think of it like you have to approach it like the NFL, where you're always trying to. You're never staying the same. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. You should always be trying to find someone better than who you have. It's just the nature of it, and the rules allow for it. So while I do think, like, it would not surprise me a lick if you said, Matt, Tyree Adams and Weston Davis are your starting tackles against Clemson next year in the opener. That would not surprise me at all. The flip side of it is, I also believe they should go in the portal and get a tackle with starting experience. Of course you should. Go this way. Taylor, is Jamari Butler an elite pickup, plug and play day one starter, more of a depth piece? So go this way. So remember, look at Savion Jones. Savion Jones' numbers aren't elite. Like, I think there are two types of ends. You have your athletic rush edge, like Braden Swinson, and then you have big, like, physical, set the edge, run stopping defenders like Savion Jones, who's 6'6", 280. Butler is 6'5", 265. He's more Savion Jones than Braden Swinson. So, like, this year, Savion Jones had 36 tackles, 6.5 for loss, 4.5 sacks, which is a very nice stat line. Butler's best year, if I'm not mistaken, was last year. I'm pulling up his stats. Hang on. Yeah, so in 23, he had 34 tackles, 8.5 TFLs, and 5.5 sacks. This season at Nebraska, he had 7 TFLs and 2 sacks. So, like, I mean, he is more comparable to Savion Jones. And who knows? Maybe in a sixth season, he takes another step. It also depends on who's on the other edge. I'll tell you this much: like, I know everyone's going to look at Deshaun Womack and be bummed about him leaving. Go this way. And I do believe Deshaun Womack has elite pass rush ability. The problem with Womack, and I told you this from literally the very first practice I ever saw, he is a liability against the run because he's small. And so teams could run right at him. That's why you never saw him emerge as an every down defensive end. Like Braden Swinson not only was an elite rusher, but got himself to a point physically where he was a good point of attack defender. So Deshaun Womack had never done that. And on top of that, he was a knucklehead. So, I mean, they left him home for the trip against Florida. I'm not just poo-pooing the guy because he's not at LSU anymore. Like, this was my contention all along. Womack's a very good edge rusher. Like, third down, put him on the field to rush the passer or in pass rush packages, but you can't have him on the field for 70 snaps a game because he's a liability against the run. So you get me a guy like Jamari Butler, and then if I have Gabe Relaford on the other side, I like that. And then I'm telling y'all, Kalaj Cobbins, I've been saying this name a ton because I watched him in fall camp, and he was unblockable. And you're like, well, why didn't he play? Well, because you had Braden Swinson and Deshaun Womack ahead of him. So, you know, that's a guy, though, that I'm telling you has elite pass rushing ability. Like, he was a problem for those offensive linemen in fall camp. It's just he had better and better guys ahead of him. Give him another year getting better. I'm telling you, that dude's going to be good. Let's see. Devin, good morning. Tiger fans think positive moving forward with BK, not going anywhere, support kids, going to the bowl game and the Clemson game. Hoping it's a night game. Ooh. It's a blue. What are you doing? You okay? That was a big yawn. Yeah. Yes. Miracle Martinez, good morning. Thoughts on the NCAA football award season? Miracle, I'm sorry. I just didn't really watch or care. I mean, people that vote for national awards, by and large, aren't watching every team play. It's a big echo chamber and groupthink. So congrats to everybody that won. I just don't think a lot of it. Rex, good morning. Mr. Laydown Law, should Saints pick up Odell? Yes, absolutely believe the Saints should pick up Odell. Not going to cost you anything. If he clears waivers, not going to cost you anything to get him. It'd be super affordable. And like your leading active pass catcher right now is Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who's been with you for a handful of games and is a one-trick pony. So, yes, out of the intrigue of having Odell come home and the fact that you don't have anything at receiver. I mean, you're running Cedric Wilson and Dante Pettis and Kevin Austin out there. Yes. Give me 32-year-old Odell. Tommy, horrible take on Ashton Genty. Okay. Please explain why. Like, he's a dude that's a very good player playing at a lower level, gets 40 touches a game, and so he stat compiles. How is that a horrible take? Go this way. I mean, if you took Caden Durham, put him on Boise State, and gave him 40 touches, he'd run for 2,000 yards. He would. So would Quinshon Judkins and any other number of great backs in college football. I'm not saying Genty is a bad player. I'm saying his numbers are cumulative because they give him the ball every play. Okay. You did misspell transfers. Where did I misspell transfers? On my YouTube? Oh, good call. Got it. I'll edit on YouTube too. Got it. Good call. Thank you. All right, please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Let me do this for Thomas so that we even.
And roofing. At Parrish, we've got you covered. From the top of your roof, all the way down. Parrish Construction and Roofing. Parrish Built. Parrish Built. Parrish Built. From your hometown. ParrishBuilt.com.
All right, Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com. So Ross Jackson just sent the inactives for the Saints. So no worries at all. Period. I'm on it. If y'all will give me just a quick second here to get this published. Boom. Let's see. Boom. Boom. Y'all time me. See how quickly I can do this to get this published. Boom. Boom. Hi, Drew. Hi, Drew. What are you doing?
No, for Dad.
Well, after Dad's show, we're going to watch the Saints play. And then after Saints, we'll go to the mall. Right?
Right around.
Right around.
Then I go to the mall, okay?
Okay, then go to the mall, okay? Let's see. Sorry, y'all. I'm almost done. Just getting this thing published for LouisianaSports.net. Things inactive. So Derek Carr, here's your inactives for the day. And boom. There we go. Okay. All right. Some good stuff up right now. If you want it, 5 things to know for Saints Commanders, Heisman reaction, Hunt's reaction to the basketball loss last night, social media reacts to Army Navy. Lots of good stuff up at LouisianaSports.net right now. Of course, as always, it's always free. LouisianaSports.net, LouisianaSports.net. All right. Where are we? William Moore, good morning. Garrett, Brown had 5 kickoff return for touchdown. Does he jump Xavion Thomas? That's a good question. And let me remind you also that Aaron Anderson had a kickoff return for a touchdown this year when Xavion Thomas got his bell rung. Good this way. So, yeah, I think Barry and Brown I think you put Barry and Brown and Xavion Thomas both back there. Maybe Xavion returns punts. Barry and Brown goes back returning kicks. We'll see. Let's see. Franco Nation, do we go get a solid backup quarterback? I think you have to add a quarterback. I think the question is, do you go get another version of AJ Swan, or do you go get someone who just finished their freshman year that's hit the portal that could be effectively, replacing Ricky Collins as a longer term play? But I think you have to add a quarterback. Brian Kelly said they're going to add a quarterback, but do you do it now? Do you wait till the spring portal window? I mean, there's lots of different ways it could work out, but you're going to add a quarterback. ACC03, need to bring a tight end who can block. Sharp definitely isn't that guy, but he's a great receiving tight end. So I'll flatly disagree with you. Brian Kelly on Friday, when he was talking about Bauer Sharp, said the thing he liked, before he talked about him as a pass catcher, talked about his physicality at the point of attack as an inline blocker. Like, that's what Brian Kelly said.
Go this way.
Go this way.
Go this way.
Go this way. Still. Looking. Trying to find it. Yep, there we go.
Obviously, a veteran from Oklahoma. Yeah, so the things that we like about it is, for the tight end room for next season as obviously a veteran from Oklahoma. Yeah, so the things that we like about it is, first of all, he's a talented player, but he's got physicality, especially in the run game. If you watch him closely, I mean, some of the things they did with him in the passing game, we've seen from other tight ends, right? But if you really look at his body of work, it's the physicality in the run game, pulling, blocking tackles, out on the perimeter. Love his physicality in the run game. Still, a very good athlete. Came in as a quarterback, in at Southeast Louisiana, and certainly has the ability to do some really good things in the passing game for us as well. But I think what really stood out was having that kind of versatility in the run game and the passing game.
So we could either take, you can choose who you want to believe. Do we want to believe ACC03, who says that Sharp definitely isn't that, but he's a great receiving tight end? Or do you want to believe Brian Kelly, who's the guy who has recruited and developed tight ends for 30 years and pumped them into the NFL? Who do you want to believe? Go this way. And let's take off your backpack. Come see. Let me see it. Come see. Come see. Stand. Okay.
Then
You want to say hi to Dad Show?
no.
Say hi.
Hi, Dad Show.
Good. Very polite. Hey, can you tell Dad Show who plays football today?
Go LSU Tiger.
It's Sunday. Who plays football on Sunday? What do we say when the Saints are playing?
Who that?
Who dat? Okay.
Go this way.
All right. We'll see you. Go Tigers. Oh, who dat? Trained him well. Anyway, ACC03, not to put you on blast or put you on Front Street, but no disrespect to you, but I'm going to take Brian Kelly's word for it when he tells me over and over and over what he likes is the physicality and the ability to block and block tackles, to pull. Good athlete, can help us in the passing game, but what we really like is his ability to block. I think they got a good guy in that respect. Is Barry and Brown another Xavier Thomas? No. Like Barry and Brown was a 5-star. He was the number 2 receiver in the country. He is a true game breaker. He is a blow the top off the defense. He is an explosive guy in the passing game. No, he is not Xavier Thomas. Non-LSU related, do you think Quinshon Judkins regrets his decision to leave Ole Miss? They could have used him. No, because Ohio State is in the playoff. Ole Miss isn't. And I know Quinshon Judkins wanted a 7-figure NIL deal, which I'm going to assume he got. Can you bring to Daddy?
No.
Okay, it's plugged in.
Yeah.
Okay, Daddy will help you. Thank you for asking to like it. Anyway, okay, so Judkins. Oh gosh, I'm so far. How do I get so far behind on comments? No, I don't think Judkins regrets his decision. Did something change? Thought people couldn't transfer within the conference. You can transfer within the conference. You can't transfer within the conference. So it used to be that if you transfer within the SEC, you had to sit a year unless you got a waiver. 2 years ago, I think maybe they disbanded that policy to allow transfers within the league. However, you cannot transfer within the league in the spring portal window and be available in the fall. So if you wait until after spring, this was the thing with Jacoby Matthews last year. So Jacoby was at A&M. Jimbo gets fired. He goes through spring with Elko, decides to leave, enters the portal in the spring. Well, he was looking at LSU and Ole Miss, wasn't going to be eligible at either for the fall. So instead, he just didn't play football. As I understand, was taking online classes to stay eligible, and now he'll transfer somewhere for this coming spring semester. Let's see. Torque Lewith. Matt, do you think everybody who's leaving during this window are already gone? Not sure when it would be too late for someone to enter. So the portal window stays open for almost a month. It's December. Portal window closes December 28th? 28th. The 9th through the 28th. So they've still got 2 more weeks. You have, or 13 more days. Go this way. I think you could have more. Hope not. But I think you could have more. Joel, FYI, Barry and Brown, great athletic ability. He's not a number 1. I live in Lexington, watched him 3 years. He was their number 2. I think LSU goes after another wide receiver that could be number 1. In fairness, however, Kentucky had 2 number 1s, and I absolutely believe Barry and Brown is a number 1. AHM, players can transfer anywhere. Oh, there's me. Mark, Saints versus Jaden. Christian, LSU should hire Glow Resources. It seems like they're bringing all the top transfer talent in for an interview. I like the approach, though. I'll play the number, see who sticks. Yeah, man, it's no different than recruiting. I mean, you may go offer 3 or 4 quarterbacks. You know you're not going to get all of them, but you have to recruit them all to see who has the best possibility of sticking. So you're not going to get all those guys. But you pursue them all. It's things that from the beginning of all. It's like, don't get so excited thinking you're going to land everybody in the portal, because you're not. You have to make sure at the end you get enough of them. It's like bobbing for apples. Like, you're not going to get every apple in that bin, but you got to get enough to win. So it's kind of similar to that. So keep dunking your head in there and going after it and see how many you come up with. Jeremy Lane, do you own 929 Misfits? I do not. So that's Guarantee Media. Guarantee, which owns the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, Eagle 98.1, 100.7 The Tiger, Talk 107.3 FM, LouisianaSports.net. 929 Misfits is a merch store that we started this year through Guarantee. Guarantee owns GatorWorks. Anyway, so it's a merch store, but I will tell you the way that our deals work with that is if we come up with a logo, a design for a piece of apparel and it sells, we share 50% of the revenue. So like Erica designed the Nuss Bus shirt. So every Nuss Bus shirt that sells was I guess shouldn't say top line revenue because it's obviously you have to take out expenses. But anyway, 50% of that net goes to Erica. So actually, if you buy a Nuss Bus shirt, you're supporting Erica. So shout out to E-Rock. Dale Broussard asked about Jacoby and Trey Holly. We already talked about Jacoby, and Trey Holly's next court date, if I'm not mistaken, is February. Reed, good morning. Is the SMU loss considered a good loss? Just now getting into basketball mode. I want to look up SMU's net. Hang on. LSU was 57, I believe. So SMU's net is 39. They're up from 42 after their win against LSU. So SMU's up to 39. So yes, LSU dropped from 53 to 61 with the loss. But yes, so that is a quote unquote good loss. But go this way. But I'll tell you this much, man. You cannot drop another one of these pre-conference games the rest of the way. You have got to win the rest of them.
Go this way.
Go this way. LSU's 8-2 through 10 games, and your remaining non-conference games, you have Stetson, UNO, and Mississippi Valley. Any of those three would be bad losses. You have got to win those three games, be 11-2 going into league play. You open up league play against Vanderbilt, which, I mean, like, I don't know if y'all are paying attention at all to the league, but the SEC is on an absolutely like torrid pace. Florida, Oklahoma, Tennessee are all 10-0. Kentucky's 10-1. Auburn, Georgia, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Missouri, Vandy, all 9-1. Arkansas, A&M, Alabama. Anyway, they annihilated the SEC ACC challenge. Got Auburn yesterday, blew the doors. They played a game in Atlanta against Ohio State, beat them 91-53. Like, I legitimately think Auburn and Alabama, as weird as this is, Auburn and Alabama might be the two best teams in the country this year. So anyway, league is awesome. Man, we should worry about losing out for a good draft pick. Yeah, I mean, I understand the tank for the draft pick thing. That's going to work out how it does. You know, I would only say, like, if there were a real, like, legitimately awesome, transcendent player at the top of the draft that you were trying to tank for, then go for it. But in reality, you see teams swing and miss in the top 10 every year. So I want to see my team win. I want to see young players develop. I want to see, I want to see Trevor Penning and Taliese Fuanga prove they can be starting tackles. I want to see Alante Taylor and Kool-Aid become starting boundary corners in the NFL. I want to see Brian Brzee continue to play exceptionally well and take that step. Like, that's more what I'm interested. Can Kendre Miller carve out a role? Like, that's what I'm interested in seeing. Matt, Belichick's effect on recruiting. I think it's far less about Belichick, far more about North Carolina's financial commitment to NIL. Once Belichick gets him there, he'll coach him. He's great. Go this way. But again, the more important part of recruiting now clearly is money. Do you have bags of cash to spend? Patrick, who dat? Despite that, I picked Jaden and the Commanders today. Tough loss to the Tigers. They can still finish out a conference 11-2. Milton, good morning. Has Odell cleared waivers? That would be tomorrow. So we'll know if he cleared waivers on Monday. And so for those that don't know, any team could put in a waiver claim for Odell. I don't think anyone will, because he was on a 1-year, $3 million deal with Miami, and there's no reason to take on that contract for Odell. Like, you let him clear waivers and then you try to sign him for a veteran minimum. The question is, will there be a contending team that wants to add him if Odell wants to go ring chase? Like, does Kansas City, Lord knows they could use, another weapon. Does Kansas City go try to sign him? Does Odell go ring chase sign him with Kansas City? Maybe. SEC will be brutal this year in basketball. It's incredible.
Go this way.
Go this way. Matt, which one of the bourbons on your shelf are your top two? Well, this is Rip 10, so that's a Van Winkle. This is William LaRue Weller, that's a BTAC. So these two would be the two hardest to get. I love this is Four Roses LE. I have the 2017 and the 2020. That's fantastic as well. This is a Parker's Heritage special release that I got a couple of years ago, this is Thomas H. Handy, which is also a BTAC. Here's the whole Weller vertical. I mean, I got everything back there, quite honestly, Miracle. Like everything back there that's all those are allocated bottles. They're all very hard to find. They're all amazing and delicious. So, but the top two, probably these two right here. The Rip 10, which is a Van Winkle, and the William LaRue Weller. Jonathan, nothing happened to Hudco. Hudco still exists. We just, me and Terrio and Tilly, we just split. Just different visions about how to move forward. Great people still operating up in North Louisiana. Jeff and Sherry Hudson, awesome people. Like loved our partnership. Think the world of them. We just had different visions of how to grow and scale over time, and so we just split and started our own company, hence Parish. So it's all of our still same people that were here. It's me and Richard and Terrio and Joe Morales, Trent Davis, one of our partners, Christina, Linda. It's all of our same people. Our vision was to scale. And so we started a new company. We've added more people. Like we hired Matt Pearson as our commercial roofing manager, who has hired him from Florida. Like we've added so much. We've got our own, the new facility that we added, and we've got a plan and a vision over the next 3 to 5 years to continue scaling to a certain level. And we're adding more and more people. Then we added the Parish Construction and Roofing. So, bought part of Mold Zero, which is now Parish Restoration, to have the restoration side, the dry fog. Parish bought part of Linksweiler Electric, so as to have an in-house electrician. So effectively, if anything were to ever happen at your house, we could handle everything from decking and mold remediation and electrical or anything, obviously your roof. So that was kind of our vision with it. So Saints lose 31-12, top 5 pick. Ashton Jetty Stewart on Heisman. Okay, I just disagree. I do not own 929 Misfits. Again, to reiterate, Guarantee Media owns 929 Misfits. But we, employees at Guarantee, can come up with designs to put merch on the website in the merch store. And if it sells, we get part of the rev share. It's a 50-50 rev share split. Deltona Doug, I'm behind. I don't understand the Genty take. Genty killed Oregon. Say how the backs replicated season is ridiculous. I really don't want to care. I really don't care about talking about Genty anymore. Like, he played one team. You mentioned Oregon in the opener. They lost, and they scored. Like, I'm genuinely not interested in talking anymore about the thing. They lost to Oregon at Oregon in the opener. I remember watching it. I was in Vegas watching it. And then I get it. Ashton Genty, very good player. I'm not saying he's not a good player. What I'm saying is he's a stat compiler. When you give one player that many, he carried the ball 344 times this year. Like, for context, because y'all continue to make me go down this road, because everyone, like, this is what I talk about with football and with sports fans and things like that. Like, there is so much groupthink. Like, you've been told Ashton Genty is awesome and deserving of the Heisman. How many of you actually watched Ashton Genty play a ton? Like, Ashton Genty had 344 rushing attempts, far and away the most in the country. The next closest was Marquez Cooper from San Diego State with 292. Ashton Genty had 50, I'm so bad at math, 52 more rushing attempts than the next closest rusher. Like, yes, he's a good back. he also carried the ball 50 more times than the next closest guy. So, yes, you give a good player that many touches against inferior competition, he's going to stat compile. That's what he did.
Who just won?
ACC said, even though we disagree, Matt, you're a class act. Keep up the good work. Thank you, ACC. But you and I don't disagree. You're disagreeing with the head coach of the LSU Tigers. Go this way. Like, you're disagreeing with the head, not with me. You're disagreeing with the head coach of the LSU Tigers, who knows way more about football and tight end play than you and me and combined ever will. Go this way. Daddy say it. Let's see. Football team doesn't look bad so far, but is it baseball season yet? Close. Patrick, we are crushing it in the portal. Top 10 high school class, legit impact portal players. We keep the receipts, boot up. Like, okay. Again, to the Genty thing. Let me ask you this question. If Ashton Genty was the running back at LSU this year, is Ashton Genty running for 2,500 yards? Answer that question. And you know the answer. So you can be infatuated with the fact that he had 2,500 rushing yards this year. He's a very good player, but he did it against lesser, like Barry Sanders played 11 games and rushed for 300 yards 4 times and had so Barry Sanders in 11 games ran for 2,600 yards, 7.6 per carry, and 37 touchdowns. Again, Ashton Genty had an extra game and was playing inferior competition. Like, look at Barry Sanders as the standard bearer because of who he did it against and in fewer games. Let's see. Safety targets. So Dylan Thieneman is the Purdue guy who committed to Oregon. No word yet on Zechariah Poyser, who's the kid from Jacksonville State that they really like, but that's LSU, Florida, Auburn are the final three. He's a kid from Florida, so there's some thought he might end at Florida. We'll see how it goes. You got money to spend, go get it. And then also Jacoby Matthews is the other that I've mentioned. So we'll see where he ultimately lands. I want Nick Anderson. So Anderson would be interesting. Nick Anderson had an awesome year 2 seasons ago from Oklahoma. I just want to make sure I get I want to get his statistics correct. So Anderson in 2023 had 38 catches for 798 and 10 scores, 21 yards per reception 2 seasons ago. Didn't play this year. And LSU has thrown their name in the ring. So Nick Anderson is visiting LSU today, Sunday. And he's already been to A&M. So went from A&M and he's in Baton Rouge today. So you'll have a pretty good idea today. After the visit, how it went. So we should know something more about Anderson today. Now, man, Anderson and Barry and Brown, come on. With Aaron Anderson, come on. Randall, Matt, who should the Saints draft in the first round? Let me see where they pick, where they draft and who's available. I don't think I'm ready to answer that yet. But the truth is, they need help at every level of the defense. You need an edge rusher. You need another interior player. You probably need a linebacker because Demario Davis ain't going to be around forever. You certainly need safety help. And depending on how Kool-Aid and Alontae Taylor play, you might need a corner. So I think you probably got to go defense, and you can go at any level of defense or an elite wide receiver. Alex Crypto Show, Matt. I'm not the guy you want to do in the crypto show. I'm the guy that consumes a lot of crypto content, but I don't think I'm the expert that needs to be like doing somebody else, like doing content. So let's see. Adam, good morning. Onshaw Eagles. I think we misspelled Eagles, but congrats. Roger Dodger, go Wildcats. I guess that's Central. Congrats. Let's see. Miracle. Thanks, Matt. Familiar with allocated bottles. Personally, have a Thomas Handy. Would like to get a William LaRue. Yeah, like in all of the years that I've been collecting whiskey, I've gotten 2 B-Techs ever. It's the Thomas Handy and the William LaRue Weller. Like that's it. That's all I've ever gotten. I mean, they're so hard to get. That's a blower.
That's moving.
Andrew is the center from Virginia Tech and to commit soon. I don't know what the time frame is, and I'm just going on what I mean. When Pete Nako, Steve Wiltfong, and Shea Dixon are all projecting it, it's probably probably done. Dane, good morning. How's Drew? Drew is standing right there behind this curtain, looking at a blower. Hey, Drew, how you doing?
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good.
Pierce Lee, based on recent events, I begin to think LSU should quit recruiting kids named Bryce altogether. Who's another Bryce? Who am I missing? I mean, Bryce Underwood, but who else am I missing? What about the argument Travis is one of the greatest Heisman winners? You think he's in that conversation? I don't know, man. I think sometimes we just get to be prisoners of the moment. I think what's interesting about Travis Hunter is that it's just different, right? I mean, that's become such a quarterback award. So when you see someone like Travis Hunter win it because of his versatility and ability to play on both sides of the ball, it's really interesting. What I do like, I'll tell you, is the last 2 years the Heisman winners have been from 3 lost teams. I think there was a time where like best quarterback on the best team or quarterback on the best team would have won it. So someone like Dylan Gabriel this year would have been a shoe-in years past. I like that the voters are actually looking at like Jaden's sensational year last year and going, it would have been so easy to vote for Bo Nix, but Jaden was deserving and he won it. Like it would have been easy to give it to a quarterback in Dylan Gabriel this year, but they looked and were like, Travis Hunter, what he did was pretty spectacular. I mean, he won the Biletnikoff as the best receiver and was also a starting cornerback. Like, and not just a starting cornerback, like an awesome cornerback. So I like that a lot, actually. No, like that's where people are getting misconstrued. I'm not saying Genty's a bad player. I'm just saying the reason, singularly, that people are considering Genty for Heisman is because he ran for over 2,000 yards. And what I'm telling you is the reason he ran for over 2,000 yards is Boise decided we're going to let him carry it 344 times. So, yes, you carry the ball that much against inferior competition, you're going to stat compile. And I'm just telling you, it's not that impressive. If he had done that in the SEC or the Big Ten, absolutely. Like, that's the Derrick Henry thing from 2015. Go back and look at Derrick Henry's stats from Derrick Henry in 2015, by the end of that season, was against Clemson in the championship game. He carried 36 times. In the semifinal that year, he carried 20 times. They didn't need him to run a bunch. They blew up Michigan State 38-0. Against Florida, in the SEC championship, 44 rushes against Auburn, 46 rushes. They didn't need him against Charleston Southern, but against State, 22, against LSU, 38, 28, 32, 27. You see, like, by the end of that season, he was carrying the ball 40 times. Like, yeah, like it was against Auburn, 46 for 271, a long of 30. They just gave him the ball every play. You do it in the SEC, it's just going to be more impactful. Evan, Matt, with an NIL deal that a player like Bryce Underwood received, does he sign a contract saying he must play for 3 to 4 years? So, well, correct. Like, they're not going to give him the entirety of the money up front. So, like, usually those would be that is an annual deal. So it's $3 million per. The question is, how much do they front load? Go this way. Let's see, Carl the Cat. OBJ's good days are behind him. He should be grateful to sign with the team. Whatever happened to Jarvis? Yeah, man. Like, Jarvis didn't get signed this year. And Carl, I agree with you. Like, I'm not saying Odell's coming in to be like a number one. I'm just saying, look at the receivers the New Orleans Saints are throwing the football to right now. Like, would you rather 32-year-old Odell, who's been elite at some point in his life, or Cedric Wilson, or Dante Pettis, or Kevin Austin? Like, think about who you're throwing the football to right now. That's why. If Aller is available, they better draft him. I don't know. You got it, man. Thank you so much. Austin Kidder, good morning. Ryan Stadler, Butler looks like a savage. Dude, I'll take a 6'5", 265-pound edge who's entering his 6th year of college that had, 7.5 TFLs, 5 sacks a year ago. I'll take that guy on my team. Hey, Mac. Bryce Baker. Did he recommit to North Carolina? Got it. So good. I mean, good for them, good for him. So I missed that. So my apologies. So that was one that we were looking at to say, LSU's going to add a quarterback. When Mac Brown got fired, Bryce Baker decommitted from North Carolina, and LSU and Penn State were the two that I was told he was considering. And so he's sticking with North Carolina. So great. Good on him. But LSU's got to go add a quarterback, period. Like, I don't have a strong feeling. Like, do you go into the portal? Do you get a veteran guy? Do you get a young guy? I don't know. But you have to have a 4-scholarship quarterback. Like, you can't go into next year letting, with Nuss, Swan, Hurley. And what's to say Swan sticks around? Go this way. I'm not saying I don't know anything. I'm just saying, like, what if you go through spring and he decides to jump and go somewhere where he could play? I don't know. Yeah, I'm not like I see everybody on the. I'm not talking about Genty anymore. We've all made our points. Will we get the edge rusher from Florida? I don't know. I haven't heard an update there. But I would love to see them get another edge. I would love to see them get another offensive lineman. I would love to see another receiver. Got to get a safety at this point. Like, I'm looking, going, okay, you've got to get a safety like that. If I look at, I think I might have thrown it away, but if I look at my list of wants, needs, and musts, here you go. Musts ahead. Here are my musts. Wide receiver, check. Tight end, check. Defensive end, check. The other two were defensive tackle and safety. So, see what else you can get there. Let's see. Kyrie, I must admit I was slightly rooting for LA to win it. I do not apologize to anyone. I know it's late, but meaning to stay for a while. LA? Oh, you mean against the Saint? LA? What do you mean LA? What am I missing there? LA to win it. Jordan, yesterday you talked about Hurley reclassifying. I don't think Jakeem will be ready either. I agree with you. Let him develop at USC, get homesick, get him in the portal at a corrected value in a year or two. There's always a possibility of that. Now I'll continue to credit Shea Dixon for this line. He told me this months ago on air, and so I repeat it, but I always give him attribution because it's his line. He said there's never been more value in finishing second in recruiting because of the portal. And if guys go into the portal, they don't pick you, but you have an established relationship. Look at Corey Raymond and Jakeem Jackson. That's a great point. Now, he went with Corey at Florida, but because of the relationship with Corey, now he's at LSU. So, yes, developing that relationship in recruiting matters because there could be time, a time where it happens. Oh, sorry. There it is. So you're telling me you're a Dodger fan and a Yankee fan? That doesn't really compute, dog. I don't know how that works, man. Matt, can we expect the rest of college football to have super week schedules like Oregon's 25? Yikes. Listen, what I want to see eventually is uniformity among college football, where there are no garbage games. And this, we are headed there. Like, you've already seen the consolidation with the SEC and the Big Ten. Go this way. And it's going to continue. And if it's I've always termed it as like they're just going to have one college football, and you're not going to have conferences all creating their own TV deals or their own schedules. It's just going to be college football like the NFL, and maybe it's invite only, maybe there's a certain financial buy-in that you have to be in the league, whatever it is, and it'll be 40, 50, 60 teams, whatever that number is. And they'll all compete against each other, and everyone will play an equitable schedule. No one, you won't see FCS games or G5 games anymore. Like the G5 will, we are going to have, this is going to happen. It is 100% going to happen because, especially with revenue share, the G5 and some of the Power 4 aren't going to be able to compete at that level. They're not going to be able to share $20 million of revenue with their athletes because a lot of those athletic departments don't generate $20 million of revenue. So that chasm with the haves and the have-nots is just going to keep growing. And the haves are going to keep putting more and more pressure as they continue to find ways to escalate revenue. And that cycle is going to continue to spin, and it's ultimately going to break. And then you're going to have the G5, whatever it is, have their own league, which is what it should be. And the Power, whatever, are going to have their own league, and that's what it's going to be. And they're all going to only play each other. Goody. Bro, you got to forgive me. With the amount of content I do and the amount of questions I answer and engage with, you can't expect me to remember every single thing about everything all the time. So my apologies, but come on, Kyrie. This is episode 2516. Do you want to take a guess at the number of thousands or maybe millions of comments ever? Come on, man. And that's just Morning Scone. That doesn't even count AFR or Locked On or all the other stuff that I do. I appreciate you. Thank you. Okay. Last one, Marcus. Tell Drew I said hello. Thank you. You can keep game closer, win. There you go, man. All right. Appreciate y'all for being here. Please smash the like button if you would, subscribe to the channel. Remember, all of our great sponsors linked in the description on YouTube and tagged on Facebook. If If you need an orthopedist, go to Brock. You need a roof, give us a shout at Parrish. Unique Physique and Restored Motions. Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com. Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. Chase, look at my statement. Our next move. Yeah, Chase. I've been talking about that. That's all. Talking about Braylon Moore from Virginia Tech. Talked about him on Locked On. I talked about him at the beginning of the show today. Yes. Shea Dixon, Steve Wiltfong, Pete Nakos, they're all projecting him. Braylon Moore, the center from Virginia Tech, to land at LSU. Talked about him plenty. Yes. So we've covered that. He should be next. Okay. All right. Let's bounce, y'all. Everybody have an awesome Sunday. Thank y'all so much for being here. Much, much appreciated. Have a great day with family. Saints start here in about 45 minutes. Jimmy Ott's Football Sunday's rolling. We're about to get the picks. I'll make sure I have Autolocks up at LouisianaSports.net. Y'all have an awesome day. We'll get you an immediate reaction video after Saints and Saints and Commanders today. Have an awesome day.